All right, everybody. Welcome to the 11th episode of the
Let's go!
Let's go, crew, baby! Let's go!
We got a fun podcast, as you guys can tell. We got the famous, world-renowned Mendy Worch of the crew on the pod here, ready to roll, and we'll get to all that. First, we want to give a shout out to Evo Care Group, for which we would be nothing without. They sponsored us when we had zero, and now look where we are now. This massive operation running here with the softball and the kids t-ball and the kids soccer, girls soccer, and all of our fall leagues coming up. Plugging that in. Sign up for fall basketball, fall softball, summer softball, boys and girls sports. Also, thank you, Evo, for everything. That being said, let's get started here.
Let's go! I want to thank you both for coming on to my podcast. It's really nice, you guys. Thank you, David, for getting dressed up for this one. I came with my crew. I was going to do a little preview for this week's playoff matchup, but yeah.
Mendy, I'm obviously afraid. You know, that's why I didn't come representing the Black Sox today.
To all the viewers who are right now closing their eyes because they're seeing David in a non-sports jersey, I do apologize. I know it's not easy to look at after seeing someone in a sports jersey your whole life.
Professional. He's a professional.
The truth is, I was a little intimidated by Mendy's YouTube success. 500,000 views on at least one of his songs, so I decided I needed to look a little more impressive today.
A little more menschlich. I was going to say, finally, you guys got around to calling me for the podcast. What is this, number 13, 14? I feel like Tom Brady at the draft. I'm going to say the same thing he said to Robert Kraft. This is the best decision you guys ever made.
You know,
It's funny you brought up Tom Brady because, we share this podcast and Tom Brady share something very, very special. You know that, right? You know what that is?
No, what's that?
Tom Brady's podcast is called the Let's Go Podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice.
but he's only got one O. We have 4, 5, or 6, depending on how many O's David decides to put into the title.
Right, and we have 99 quality views on all our videos,
Right.
So, and we know all our viewers. It's like one-on-one.
Right.
It's a mishpach.
We're one big family. We're much more of a family than Tom Brady's podcast is.
so Mendy, let's hear a little bit about you. Let's start with, how old are you?
I'm the oldest guy in the league. I'm 39. I'm turning 40 in August. Well, besides,
You're not the oldest guy in the league. But
it feels like that some weeks.
He's the oldest guy in his team by 20 years.
Oh, for sure. And enough about that.
Where are you from? Where do you live now?
I grew up in Muncie, New York. I live in Flatbush. This is the dining room in Flatbush, and I love baseball. Avi, I was on a chat. Avi was like, "Hey, who's looking to play baseball?" And I was like, "I play in the summer. Wouldn't mind breaking out the cleats a little early, And then next thing I know, I'm driving in the rain, 7 a.m. to Queens. And I'm going, what is wrong with me? But then, you show up and you see so many other people that are passionate about the game. And I love it. Not just that, we have the choice now as we're in the playoffs. They're like, so what time do you want to play? And I think we're choosing 8 a.m. Because it works out for some people's schedules. But we love it. And there's nothing like that drive home after a W. You drink your cold coffee and, your Sunday's done. You're a winner.
So how did you find the crew?
Gershi Minsky, with the co-captain, he davens with us in the shul, and he's like, Mendy, I know you're incredibly athletic and just so good to have around, and
handsome,
yeah, handsome and humble. So how do I refuse?
And famous.
And famous. Now with the David Gottlieb marketing for this podcast, I mean, you had that ready, David. I said yes. It was like boom, you had my whole playlist ready to go.
So it's kind of funny. So I'm embarrassed to admit I actually did not know who Mendy was. And Mendy reached out to me about something a few days ago. I don't remember what it was.
I think it was the stats being incorrect.
Oh, and I didn't fix it?
No, don't even worry about it. We're fine. We're winners. It's about the trophy. It's about.
I hate to mention this. I put out that Ellie Stoll is the OPS champ, and Danny Shainman, as I like to call him, messaged me that there were some mistakes on his end, and I've kind of buried my head in the sand since then because it might take away the OPS title from Mr. Stoll.
Breaking news. Ellie Stool may have not won the OPS title.
And
Wow.
I'm going to get a legal letter from Burger Hicks, but his captain. But now it sounds like maybe Mendy Worch. Oh, so the end of this is the real OPS champion. But the full story is Mendy messaged me. I see his profile pic. This astonishingly handsome man singing in front of Kibarachel or the Kotel or something. I don't remember.
Something Jewish, yeah.
Something Jewish. And I say, this guy looks legit. So I Google his name, and then I find that we have he's one of the celebrities we have in our league. The second Jewish celebrity we've had on the podcast. Number one was Shlomo Levinger.
Shout out Shlomo. Watch, I'm going to take the X off my hand. Now, slowly look at your hand. See, I just did it. Beautiful.
Dave,
No one does it like Shlomo. He is a
Dave,
legend.
you know what he's talking about?
I don't actually.
He puts a little Sharpie X on his palm hand, and he gets someone else to close their fist, and he goes like this, and it goes off of his hand and onto the other person's hand.
Wow.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's a great trick, and he's great. But, you know, something about Shlomo, he manages to, like, stay composed no matter where he is, or, like, you know, I love his energy and the way, like, he's not thrown off his game. I respect that. And
I have a great line. I want to say. Should I say it? Should I say it?
Say it.
I should say it. The line I was going to say is that Shlomo is very good at staying composed until he gets blown out by Switch on Solutions. Then there's a little bit of
shots fired.
Then a little bit of lack of composure. Anyways, back to the program.
Back to the program. I know you guys have questions for me, but this is going to be a little different. This is going to be a hostile takeover, this podcast.
We like it.
Because I represent a lot of people that have questions for you guys, but we're going to get there. But first, I just want to say, like, I showed up to the, like, I remember the first game. It was 8 a.m. It was raining, or it had just been raining. And Avi, I don't know how you do it, Avi. You're, like, on every chat with every team. And like, every ump is calling you in the middle of the game. And we're like, Avi, there's a huge puddle, like, right in the middle of the field. And gold words, Avi goes, kick some dirt on it. And I remember we were like, Commissioner of the Year, this guy. And then he shows up in his flip-flops, like, not a care in the world. It's like, what's going on, guys? I don't know. Hold on. But you know what? Awesome season. You guys are doing a great job. And really good group of guys. I want you to know, like, I didn't hear any cursing or fighting. And sometimes things get intense during the games. But it's a really good group of guys.
Mendy, you never heard any cursing?
I heard you mumble something under that one game.
So something very impressive about that interaction. We talked about this controversy a few weeks ago. Mendy, you really sort of stepped into the captain's role there. I was very hot, and you. Sorry, let me put it.
We're offending two captains on my team. We have co-captains. So,
but you stepped into a leadership role, and
I'm just the loud guy. I'm just the chirper. You know. Both our captains are great. We want Yaakov Gelb to, like, kind of stay mentally, like, in the game as far as pitching, and he does a great job of that. He is a phenomenal pitcher. He really, really is great. And Gershie Minsky, who's, like, does a lot of the co-captaining too, puts the team construction, things like that. They're not the kind of guys that are going to get in your face, especially someone like David. I had no idea who David is. I just feel like, you know, David, it's the 10th inning. Somehow we're at the bottom, but we're supposed to be the home team. And it's like, and then David is also, I think your team also doesn't have a captain that shows up to the game. So there's like a remote captain, and David's like calling him.
That's great, boy. Mendy, you have just opened up a massive room of glory. What was the words you used?
Captain.
Remote working captain.
My team
Raider's gonna love that.
My team is gonna love that.
Your team, the Syrian Sensations will love that.
You know,
I see David getting worked up, and he's like, "You guys, you think this win's fun till it gets pulled tomorrow?" And I'm like. And then he's calling Avi, and the ump is up in his face. And then Avi shows up and hold on from the outfield. He's like, hold on, don't pitch. And the ump's like, this is my game. And then Avi's worked. And then I see Avi tell David, calm down. And then I find out David's the therapist that calms Avi down every Monday morning. It's amazing. David, be
They're
honest.
all very true statements he's making.
David, be honest. How intense are those Monday morning sessions with Avi? Like, does he have to? Is it a double session?
That is very true, by the way.
I see it,
It's not
Mendy.
just it's not just Monday mornings. It's a lot more than Monday mornings.
Mendy, you used the word double session. I see you. I see you perhaps have been in therapy or know a little bit about it, but it's.
I know a little bit about billing and invoicing. Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions. I'm curious about. Is working as a singer your full-time occupation?
You know, I like to say that I have the privilege of being Mendy Worch full time. So it's not just a singer. I have a lot of different hats and a little bit of an influencer. I do some podcasts and stories. I partnered with Thank You Hashem. They're the great organization, and they have so many different facets. So it's not just singing, although singing is like what I'm known for and how people consume my material. But really, it's a lot more. It's about bringing Jewish, healthy, positive content to the world, to all types of Jews.
Where do we find your other content? Where are the podcasts?
Thank You Hashem. Their website, or
Dave, you never seen Thank You Hashem anywhere?
I have seen Thank You Hashem.
You never seen the guy goes around, the kid who goes around and interview. I don't know if he's a kid. He looks young, but he goes around and he interviews all these kids on the street and asks them like.
Yid on the street. Yep.
Yeah, Yid on the street. There's a lot of different.
Now, I'll be honest. I've been disconnected for a long time from the sort of Jewish social media music scene. You know, I grew up very yeshivish, and that's all I knew. And then I kind of took like a 10-year plus break from it, and now I'm, honestly, through the HSL in part, I'm dealing with so many from guys and Jewish guys, and having Shlomo Levinger on. Like when Shlomo also, I didn't really know who he was until last year. He was on my softball team. I didn't know who he was, and he's a pretty big star also, like you, Mendy, and I didn't know who he was. So I'm starting to get back into the sort of Jewish culture scene.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like all of us have in common, like, not to knock Jewish music, but there's not that much material to really, consume again and again and again. It's kind of niche. So what we're trying to do is, like, with Thank You Hashem, the focus is trying to put out like family friendly music for the kids and upbeat stuff, and a lot of my music is being consumed by like parents because their kids want to hear it, and we want to get the Jewish audience when they're young, and then grow with them, and it's like taking deep messages and like dumbing them down into like very simple Disney type music. So it's easy to sing along with, easy lyrics, easy melodies. We're not trying to be sophisticated, but that's the joy, like we'll go out to college campuses and do at the Hillel, or we're in Hanukkah. We went to Rutgers and Harvard and all these places, which are hotbeds of anti-Semitism now. So they really need the chizuk. But all Jews are important. Everybody can connect through music, and positivity resonates. So that's the goal.
Mendy, you missed one line.
What's that?
Every Yid's a big tzaddik.
Oh, every Yid is a big tzaddik.
Wait, so I'm just having a little trouble teasing out what's Thank You Hashem and what's Mendy Worch.
So Thank You Hashem is like an organization that does a lot of outreach. They're doing meals for soldiers in Israel. They're doing the rubber bands that you can find at the street corner. They're doing charities and charity drives. They're doing music. They're doing podcasts. They're doing storytelling. They have
merch. They got a lot of merch.
A lot of merch. They're marketing geniuses like you, David. And Mendy Worch is just one artist, or so, like one mashpia, we like to call it.
One influencer. Got it.
One influencer on the brand.
I just looked you up on Instagram, and I see that Yaakov Shweki Shlita follows you.
I actually wrote a few songs with Yaakov. Yaakov's a good friend. I wrote a few songs for Yaakov, yeah.
He's
the song, Gam ki elech begeitz hamovet. Oh, of course. David, don't say yes. You don't know that song. But we wrote that song. Yeah, me and Yaakov spent some good time together. I helped him with a couple of his projects. But yeah, he's one of many. And anytime we could help the voices of Jewish music in any way, it's one big mishpacha.
One big mishpacha. Beautiful. So, okay, so you grow up in Monsey. You go to high school where?
Everywhere.
You were okay. You had an artistic temperament, shall we say? And
Yeah, ADD. I was like, as you can see, I like to run the mouth. So I was entertaining in class, specifically for the teachers. They would let me do my thing. It was like a day off when Mendy was feeling like doing his bit. But I went to different schools, different, we're from the Heimische Hasidische background, Karistira Hasidim. So that was the yeshivas I went to. Then I married a beautiful girl from Flatbush
how
and
old?
said,
How old were
I,
you?
I was 21.
Okay.
My wife was 19. I said, I'll never live in Brooklyn. I was a Muncie boy. I need that grass. But here we are 18 years later.
What did he
We're
mean
in
by "I
Brooklyn.
need that grass"? It has multiple meanings.
Exact. I meant it in every way. Like you need the space. You need, especially someone like me who's like inside the head. We need that space, the calming, or at least I thought I did. But
So
Hashem
you're
had other plans.
21. You've been in yeshiva. You have no prospects to make a parnasa, and you say, "You know what? I'm going to try singing," and people love you.
No, not like that. It was actually, I was working at like 17. I was working. I had a day camp in Muncie, and I had some. My parents were in import export, so I was bringing in shirts, and we were doing. I was always like hustling. Then I got into the car business, a little bit of cash advance, a little bit of this and that. But the singing was always something that it was like I felt really fulfilled when I did it. I felt like it was my calling, and I was like wasting time when I wasn't using it. So I put out a few songs here and there on my own, and then Thank You Hashem, I was lucky enough to partner with Thank You Hashem, and that was like, because they're awesome. They don't let anything step in the way. They have a mindset of like, just do it. Don't think about how it could fail. They're jump in and do it, and the success. I mean, like Avi said, like they're just doing so many things. It's because they just jump in and do it, and they have a siyata d'shmaya that things just.
Who runs Thank You Hashem?
Two very chashuv yidden, Aryeh Bloomstein and Elimelech Bloomstein, both my age. Great guys, and there's a few of other people on the team, but they're the brains behind the entire operation. They have a lot of people working for them. There's media guys, there's video creators, there's music artists, music producers, influencers. It's so many different, and they're always hungry to do more. They don't feel like they've gotten anywhere yet. They're just like, what could we do more? What could we do more? So it's very, very empowering and what's the word? It's encouraging to be around such people that are constantly looking to be positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like they let you be you're able to be Mendy Worch full time. You're doing your music. You're doing your entertainment. You're doing your podcast. That's it sounds like it was a perfect fit for you.
It was good. It was a good fit. We were friends. We knew each other from before, and when we were ready for each other, it happened. And we're still every day. We're still trying to figure out what can we do new. What's next? What's next? Like I feel like we're just getting started. So
how beautiful.
Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes.
Don't you daven in Karastir in Flatbush?
Yeah. Don't you have an uncle or something?
Yeah, Ushi Berkowitz,
Yeah.
the one who was supposed to play on the crew until he decided to have a career-ending injury before the season even started.
Yeah, and here I am in week 1 going, I paid to be in this league, and I have 7 guys on my team. What's the deal with this guy? Kick some dirt on it. What is this guy doing? Where's my team? But it worked out. We ended up getting Gershi Minsky's brother, Shlomi, who's been awesome for us. I think he's top 3 batting average on our team. Plays a great right field. Actually, to talk a little bit about baseball, I really feel like the crew, if you look at the stats and the leaders, the league leaders in the Legacy League, we don't have anybody in the top 10 of like, hits, batting. We're not leading in any one category, but there's no holes. Like when we play other teams, I feel like 1 or 2 guys are like an automatic out, or like one guy in the field, hit the ball to him and you have a good chance of like it rolling past him. With our team, there's really no holes. It's a very well-constructed, athletic, good team. And I think there's some things off the field that make a team great too, where there's like we're very serious and passionate about winning. Like we're the whole team's watching every pitch of every at bat. We're talking, we're chirping, we're talking to each other, we're pumping it up. We're really in it. And during the week, Avi can see like we're like pumped for this week's game. Like I don't know what it's like on other teams' chats, but like we're a good group of guys, and we pick each other up.
So I want to springboard on that, Mendy. In one of our podcasts, we're talking about how different teams in the HSL have cultures. Like the Bombers, who you hear a lot about. They've been a lot of those guys have been playing together for 20 years. The Robins, a lot of those guys have been playing together for 10 plus years. Rumble Ponies now have a culture. Something I've been really astounded by with the Crew, and it's also interesting to me to hear you guys were shorthanded at the beginning of the year, and to also hear you were different factions coming together. You guys seem to have a culture already in just a couple of weeks, and teams are a little intimidated at this point.
I hope they are.
Not by you, Mendy. I actually hear a lot of people saying the Crew's pretty intimidating, except that guy at first base.
I always
kind
try
of like
to
a buffoon. That's what I'm hearing a lot of these days.
Yeah, you should know there's like teams show up and everyone's like the first inning, everyone's tight, and then I try not to talk to the other team, but I'll chirp our own team. Like if I'm at first, I'm running my mouth the whole time to the pitcher. Great pitch. You got this. Let's go. 2 outs. Let's get 2. Keep it crispy. Keep it this. Like,
Crispy.
And it kind of like, and then we played, I forget which team we played. I think it wasn't this past game, the game before. The pitcher is a skinny guy, a little blonde. I forget his name. He was
I think you played the same team twice the last 2 games. Slomowitz? Ari Slomowitz?
Was it Slomowitz?
Was it the Panda?
He wasn't here last week, though. I don't think he pitched. He was the pitcher, and I don't think he pitched this past week.
I think Slomowitz did.
No, must
no. So maybe whatever it was, he was like he was like, oh, he was like, you're chirping, aren't you? And it was like friendly. He started chirping and talking, and I just think it keeps the game, light. I mean, obviously you can't be aggressive, but like this week things were getting heated. Somebody went in the 7th inning, and as we were warming up between innings, one of our guys went and like threw a couple of warm-up pitches. And the Jewish ump, the younger guy,
Fine,
the Jewish
Fine.
Which I actually like him. I think
Joe Fine.
He's best out of all of them.
Yeah.
But he is very serious about his job. And he's like, you threw 2 warm-up pitches, you have to pitch the next inning. And we were like, what? What's like? And he's like, that's in the rule book. And he's on the phone, and we're like, and everyone's starting to get it heated. And I was like, guys,
is that really in the rule book?
I don't know. We were like, it's a playoff game, and so that's something he was.
This didn't get back to me. Usually, all the little things get back to me. This is actually could have meant something, because imagine some random pitcher came in and lead up 4 runs. That could lead to massive controversy. Yeah. It's shocked it didn't get back to me.
At least someone's reading the rule book. So
yeah,
he was
it's time. I think it's time that both of us read the rule book.
Yeah.
we do a president of operations for a reason.
Yeah. I mean. So I was just reminding guys, this is playoffs. This is free baseball. Like, the season ended. Let's just have a good time. It kept everything light, It was actually a hard game for the other team. We blew them out. It was like a mercy rule, like 15 rounds or 12 rounds after 7 innings or something. So like they were getting blown out, but I have to say they were gentlemen. They took it like a champ. They like they didn't fall apart. We shook hands. It was great. It was a great experience.
Yeah, they got Yigal Ben Hayim. He's a great guy.
He was great. Yeah. He was great. He actually got into it with the ump. He was at short, and the guy was like squeezing their pitcher, and he's like, "Be consistent." And Fine comes out, "I'm gonna throw you out if you." And he's like, "I don't care." And it was awesome. It worked. Well, we did find out that the ump, who came late, got pulled over on the way to the game, so he was ready.
Yeah,
and it's an 8:00 game. So
I got a call. I was playing my quarterfinal game against Mobat, which we of course won. I got a call like in the bottom of the first. I'm like, this can't be happening. It's a playoff game. What's not running smoothly? And like, oh, it's 8-11. Both teams have 10 guys here, and the ump's not here. I'm like, Dom, come on. Yeah. So I called Dom up, and he called me back 2 minutes later. He was like, he fines in the lot. He got pulled over on the way to the game. But what did he get
pulled over for?
Speeding, I think.
Wow. Was he running late to begin with?
No, he got pulled over by a cop. I mean, he must not. He must have been running early, right? He got pulled over, and he still only got there 10 minutes late.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. So since this is my podcast, we have a minute that we ask all our guests what we could do to improve. So we're going to start with Avi. What do you think we could do to improve HSL?
So, Mendy, I see you've been watching all the HSL podcasts.
I come prepared. Look at me with the fireworks. Look at this.
I tell you one thing I think we could do to improve the HSL is by having the Crew come back next year with a a Titan level team, maybe. I don't know. We see the
with
Crew's
a
up
ring,
there
with a ring.
with the ring. On that note,
Can
Devin,
I
you had a
add
couple.
to that? The Crew, something I've learned, especially from our interview with Steve Pollan and from knowing Avi and knowing some other guys, I think a big thing that separates the Titan League from the Legacy League is not just the level of talent, it's a level of intensity, focus, preparation. You guys say you're chatting all week, and it seems to me, we know the Robins are there. The Robins have a hang up about playing in the Titan League. They're a little intimidated, it seems. The Crew, I don't know what will happen on Sunday with the Black Sox, and if you beat us, what will happen in the championship. But I would really assume you guys could get at least 3-4 dubs next year in the Titan League, and then you grow.
I mean, is that something that you're interested to do as a league? Don't you want to have some competition in the Legacy League? Like, is it in your interest to like move every good team? In other words, why not build up and have two really good competitive leagues?
No, for sure. I think what Mendy's trying to say is if you're going to remove every team that is good from the Legacy League into the Titan League, then you're really not going to have much of a league left. I think the answer is finding a balance between we want, the reason why we broke this up into two leagues to begin with is we want the lesser teams who aren't really great at all, who would be getting blown out by these Titan level teams to have competitive games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we want these Titan level teams to also have teams that are not only talented but serious and intense to play against. So it's a very it's a balance of it.
Mendy, it's a good question, and I want to echo Avi. I need to think about your point a little bit more. It seems to me developing Titan League talent is a long project. You look at the teams in the Monday Night League. I don't know if you know the Monday Night League. Currently, there's 4 A-level teams, and some of them have been playing together for 20 plus years. I don't know why it's important to have. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you, Mendy. It's a really good question.
Yeah, and maybe a team that's getting blown out in the Titan League moves down to the Legacy.
Yeah, for sure.
So and then maybe it's that way, and it's better for everybody. It's more competitive baseball. So yeah. I think that's in everyone's best interest. Avi, what team is the easiest to deal with? What's your favorite team?
That's a good
I'm not going to ask you your worst team. I'm going to ask you, who should we strive to be like? Whose team, like which captain's just great and least amount of text during the week? Like, who gives you the least amount of agita?
You're talking about in the league in general or in the Titan
League?
Yeah,
in the league in general. Just give a shout out to whoever's been, being a...
Yoda Burger. Yona Burger or Burger Hicks. Yona is the sweetest guy in the world. He actually sent me a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful 3-minute voice note. Like, literally 20 minutes after losing the tough one to the Black Sox. A gorgeous voice note telling me how happy he was the league. He's very good because he's not a pushover. If he has a point he wants to get across, he'll let me know. But he's super nice about it. He's super gentle about it, and he's super respectful. And he does everything in a very respectful, nice way. And his team, bunch of fun, happy guys who are competitive. They play. They're good. But they're awesome. They're good, fun guys.
Yona's a big tzaddik.
Great addition to the HSL. Yeah. I'm sure many more seasons to come. I think he wants to bring the team to the fall league, the fall night league. So we'll see.
Beautiful. I love that. David, what do you think Avi could be doing better as a commissioner?
I think he gets easily rattled by certain things.
More therapy.
A lot more therapy. I think when somebody gives him feedback, and it's because he cares so much, I think when somebody gives him feedback, he wants to bend over backwards. And I've told him this. Wants to bend over backwards to help them, and he thinks the problem also needs to be solved in 24 hours, in 24 minutes. He's sometimes not able to see that. It's a great product. I would say 97% of the players, let's say there's about 180 players in the two leagues, 170 had a great time. He cares so much. You ever watch the TV show The Office?
Of course.
And they ask Michael Scott, like, what are your shortcomings? And he says, I care too much. I try too hard. Something like that. So obviously,
does that make you the assistant to the regional manager?
That's exactly what I am, and that's what I'm on my role to be. Exactly.
Dave, you just got another viewer for the podcast because my wife is obsessed with The Office. So if I tell her The Office is brought up, she'll be watching.
Oh, there you go.
I thought you said your wife watches every episode, Avi.
Yeah, and besides,
I'm just saying she's gonna watch all of it. Isn't time like a big factor in YouTube? Like how long you're gonna watch it for? I won't tell her when it's brought up. I'll tell her somewhere in the podcast, so she'll have to go through the whole thing.
There you go. Assistant 2 or assistant. Besides getting great calls from the ump, what else does a real cone do? Ariel Cohen. What's his
Ariel Cohen.
Ariel? What is this?
Did you say just besides getting great calls?
Besides pressuring the umps to like, oh, he's the guy. Like, what else does he do? Does he do anything productive? Does
Mendy,
he
where have
catch
you
the
seen him do
cases?
that? I'm
Does he?
curious.
What does he do?
Mendy,
I'm
you've
just,
seen him do that?
I'm just kidding. The first game they beat us, they were like, oh, umps squeezing us because he's getting all the calls and because he's the president or whatever. I'm only kidding. I'm sure. I think it's his league, right? Isn't he the OG?
There's a complicated, yeah, it's a complicated relationship. It's a little still being ironed out, but his role currently is he handles the scheduling, which he's really good at. It's very
He
tricky,
is.
very
Schedule
tricky.
goes great. Yeah,
Yes.
schedule's been great.
And the rules.
He handles the rules, and also he's been tremendous for troubleshooting. You run a league for the first time, which Avi's really doing the bulk of it. I'm the assistant to the regional manager. Stupid, petty things that you would never think of come up.
Yeah.
In April, it's 55 degrees, let's say, March even. Yeah. It rains 2 inches on Wednesday. I will say that's not drawing by Sunday. It's going to be sunny Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but 58. I was like, nope, it's not going to dry. What you got to do is squeegee the field today, and it'll be dry by Sunday. If it was June, it'll be dry in 1 day at 75 degrees. So there's a lot of little things that come up that he just has a lot of experience with, and I would say his biggest asset has been as a consultant more than anything.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you from a first timer, outsider, watching the whole thing unfold, I think, Avi, I'm not just saying this, I think you do a great job. I know that not everybody says things in a nice way, especially when they want something or they're getting frustrated. You always answer quickly. You're on it, and for the most part, I agree with almost all the decisions you have been making. Even sometimes being like a little bit short with somebody when they need it, like, hey, check the website, or like, don't be stupid. Like, help yourself kind of like thing. And I think you've been doing a great job of that. And I think the sentiment across the league is that you're great, you're approachable, and you're a baseball guy, which is important. You're passionate about the game too.
Yeah.
And David, you're the straw that stirs the drink, to quote Reggie Jackson. I don't know if you're a Yankee fan.
I'm not a Yankees fan, but I know I'm an admirer of Reggie.
You're the straw that stirs the drink. You're the guy. We all know the truth. We know. You're doing
Dave's the backbone to everything HSL.
Yeah, yeah. I think you have to go in a couple minutes, but I will say, a couple of things that I think we could do to like enhance this experience for everybody. First of all, I don't know what happened to the drone. There was 1 week where there was like a drone flying, and I think even investing in just bumping up a little bit of the proper media, like video capturing, could really enhance the league, get people watching other teams. It'll create a little bit of an energy, like, hey, I want my play to be featured on Sports Center. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the footage thing is a big element of it. Maybe not even just doing it on the status, but also having maybe a media page, like one in the community, in the group, having just a media so people can go back, watch older clips, highlights, things like that. I think that gets your juices flowing throughout the week and throughout the season. Then you can do like a top 10 highlight reel at the end of the season. It's just cool to like kind of.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Our drone guy was supposed to be permanent. He has family in Israel that he went back to attend to for Pesach, surprised them, and then he never made a return. So that did not work out too well for us.
One thing I started looking into, which we're not gonna have time for this season, unfortunately, is some of these leagues put up they attach a GoPro behind home.
Yeah.
Which is much easier if you have one field. The problem is we have 8 different fields. That's why it gets a little complicated.
Well, I think the idea for next year would be each captain to kind of it's tough, but to also take responsibility. But the players will love it. Everybody loves seeing themselves. Afterward, breaking down the footage into highlights will be challenging.
Yeah.
Even just having the full game on the GoPro, I think, would be.
I mean, I don't know what it'll cost. Probably not much. And I think as far as marketing and building the brand, which is the league, I think it's a worthwhile investment, because even if you have 2 guys with some basic cameras that just go around and catch a couple of this and that, and then they do some light editing. I know this is our business, so we're constantly shooting and editing. It's not that if it's someone's job or there's 2 people. I think it's just cool and something that'll help the league gain public popularity. You know, you can.
Before we go, Dub, I know you have
Wait,
a second.
I have a few minutes.
Oh, you do? Okay, all right. Listen, I'm game. I got plenty of time.
I got 3-4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think the other thing is the fields. Some of the fields are great, like Lawrence is great. The other one in Queens is great, but like the Pecks are terrible. I mean,
That's why we got College Point. College
yeah,
Point's gonna hopefully
yeah.
replace that permanently.
And I was thinking, you know, we were talking to a couple of other guys about Shavuos coming up and maybe like conflicting schedules for Sunday morning. I don't know if it's Negea for this season, but maybe even for playoffs and stuff, finding like maybe Thursday night games under the lights. I know there are some fields, Coyle in Brooklyn, and some fields you can grab some fields under the lights. I think that would be cool too. Night game, people.
So we're doing a fall. We're doing a fall night.
Wait, but this is an interesting idea, Mendy. You're saying for the playoffs, because our view on it has always been if it's a Sunday morning league, you got to do the playoffs on Sunday. But you're saying why?
Yeah, I mean, again, you can give the team the option, but if the team wants to, or if a game gets rained out on a Sunday, so you have an option to do a night game fill up. It may just be beneficial for the league to have a night option.
It would really be helpful also in terms of being able to schedule better because
like I'll tell you a couple of that is a good idea, which I think people want. A couple logistical issues only because there are many other leagues that play at night. For example, the West Hempstead League in the Five Towns, they have games Monday and Wednesday nights, and then there's a couple other leagues within the area. But I like the idea. I like the gist. And the full night league, Mirza Shem, Mendy Worch and the crew will be joining and playing the full night league that we'll be opening up registration for shortly. Dub, do you have another question before I get to mine, or you want to?
We got to do predictions. I got to bounce 2 minutes. What was your question?
That was my question was this whole podcast. You've had Dub asking questions, Mendy asking questions. I want the predictions first. I want to hear Robins versus Hippos from both Mendy and Dubba Gottlieb. And then I would like Crew versus Black Sox, which will get interesting from both Mendy. So, Mendy, why don't you first give us your prediction on Robins versus the Hungry Hippos? To give you a little bit of context, the Robins are missing both Goldenberg brothers. The Goldenbergs are phenomenal fielders and tremendous hitters, probably the crux of their team, going against the Hungry Hippos, who I think took advantage of the of Donnie Scheinman's team missing two of their top players. They squeaked out, I think, a 10-9 win. So give us the prediction on that game first.
I'm going to answer it with one line. We're going to beat the Robins in the World Series, and I'm looking forward to it.
Give us a score. Hippos versus Robins.
I think it was the Hippos Robins. I think the Robins are going to win by 6 runs.
Give me a score. I'm writing it down. I keep
like
the
that.
Keep notes
well, they don't give up a lot of runs. I would say 11-5 maybe.
All right, Dave, what do you think?
13-1 Robins in 6 innings.
Wow, bold. All right, and now for the main event. Black Sox versus the Crew. This should be a fun matchup. Syrian Sensations, led by Shmuel Reda and David Gottlieb, versus the Crew, the surprise team who came in there and dominated the league. With beside for the Robins, the Crew would be the big story right now. By the way, if you take out the Robins, the Crew basically went through everybody like water. So let's go through the Crew and the Black Sox. Mendy, give me a score and give me your reason why.
Well, the last game we played went to extras. They have a very good team despite not having a captain. I think they all have their head in the game too. That's a big deal. Like they're all there to play and they're serious about it. Obviously we're gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be a big spread. And maybe what was the last game?
3-2, like? 3-2 and 10.
I'm gonna say 5-3 Crew.
Why? Why does the Crew have the edge over the Black Sox? What do you guys got?
Shua Danny hit like 4 home runs in the last 2 games. He's on a tear. Walk-off home run this past week. He's our secret weapon. He doesn't miss. We also have our center fielder Michael Cohn. Just got married 2 weeks ago, so now he shows up with the in-laws, the outlaws, the wife, the grandparents. It's a mini Sheva Brachas at the game, so that gives us like a little.
Michael's playing my summer team.
Great guy, great player, great guy.
Dave, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with 4-3 Black Sox. Jake Casson, our pitcher, really found himself against the Crew. That was, I think, did Mayor Silber pitch the first 2 innings? No, that was the game before. That was the first game. He went 9. He really found himself against the Crew. He's improved as we've gone along. Crew's got some really strong hitters. I think they'll punch through against Jake. but not too much. 3 runs, and I think Jacob Gelb. I think his time has come. I think he's been on a tear, but the Black Sox were missing a key. Well, what, Mendy? Well, what does this mean?
He just pointed to the crew.
Jacob Gelb's time tier has come to an end this week, and I think the book is kind of out on Gelb. We know his tricks, and we're gonna punch through with 4 runs. We have one of our best hitters, David Manella, missed the game against the Crew, so I think it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be intense. We know the Crew are gonna be very focused, but 4-3 in regular innings, 9 innings.
I want to try to make it to that game. We got a big doubleheader championship game in the Titan League starting at 8. I want to try to make it to your game and then get to the championship for the second game in the Titans because no one's winning a championship in a best of 3.
Yeah.
So I want to try to make it to your game.
I got to bounce in 1 second. Mendy, you said you're 39. I'm 37. I grew up despising the Yankees. My oldest brother was a Yankee fan. He tormented me. My other brother was a Yankee fan. But with 10, 15 years later, I'm a big admirer of those 90s. I'm in a Yankees chat with Edelman once in a while. I'll post a highlight from those glory years. So if you could just give us your best moment of that dynasty, I'm really curious.
It's got to be the 1996 World Series. That was the one. It was like it was all. Hold on, I'm doing this.
Oh!
We're gonna do this. Ready? Because you have to go. Yavi is a big tzaddik. Yavi is a big tzaddik. Yavi is a big tzaddik. Let's go, Crew. Let's go, Yankees. Let's go.
Awesome. HSL. Let's go, HSL.
Thanks for having me. You guys are awesome. Let's go, Yankees, all the way. David, I'll see you on Sunday. Bring us bagels, all right? Losing team brings bagels.
Will do. All right, bye,
guys.
See you guys.
Bye.